Can I ask Gerry about, getting people onto the workshops, which sounds great because I've been watching that TV show Make It at Market, which is on the BBC over here, Kelly. Yeah, and they often say, "Oh, run workshops," and I think, well, that's great, but you still have to market the workshops and sell them. So how do you think you're doing so well with actually getting people onto your workshops?
So what I did, I last year I did a deliberate policy. I had very small A5 flyers made of just detailing, that I do workshops. This is what to do. This is where I do it. Please get in touch. Didn't put any dates or anything on them. And then I said, please go to my website for more things. So every time I did any kind of event last year, I was handing those out. I was trying to engage with people and saying, oh, did you do a lino at school? Did you cut yourself? Sort of, what sort of talking. And I handed them out. And people often found the ones that were interested were quite keen to have another go as an adult. So I gave those out. The other thing I did, because I've got an Etsy shop and I sell various things online, every time I sold something within a 100-mile radius of my house, I put one of those leaflets in the envelope. And I have had people come from sort of the other side of London, sort of someone came from Southampton to do one of my workshops. So, the word is getting out there. I try not to make my posts very salesy. I mean, apart from I'm just saying, oh, I've got a place on a workshop next Saturday if anybody's interested. But I very rarely say, oh, this is my new print. It's £55. You can buy it at, because I don't do that. I try to do that very, very seldom. And I try and post sort of more informational stuff. And I put some little videos about me sort of cleaning up my inks and just sort of, just random. It's just crap, basically, that fills my head. So I think I'll
crap. No,
it's obviously my crap out there.
Crap.
It's working, isn't it? So
But I think people quite like a bit of the behind the scenes sort of stuff. They sort of like to see what goes on.
Like networking and things like that. It's not, the Instagram shouldn't be valued on whether you get a monetary sale from it. There's more stuff going on around it, and it'll be in somebody's psyche somewhere, and you might find someone in the future go, oh, I've seen your work before, when she's seeing it, when he or she is seeing it in real life, and it's because it's from over here somewhere at some other time. So I think it's worth doing, and I think you might do, and you're going to go, but you might stick a camera on a tripod and do some videos of you painting.
Well, I did buy a tripod, I don't know, 6 months or more, and it's still sat in its box, and I haven't sort of, because I'm a bit inclined, I just want to get out there and paint, and you've seen the state of my studio.
Studios are great like that, yeah. And
studios have to be messy.
Yes, well, they do. Every time I try and tidy it up, I cannot start painting again until I'm in a mess. So
I think you just have to stick it on one day and stick record, and then just ignore it for as long as it's still got battery, and then worry about what happens with it afterwards.
And then you have to know how to edit it.
Yeah, well, I can help you with that. If you buy me a cup of tea.
Yeah, and I mean, like Instagram, they'll kind of almost edit it for you anyway. They'll just suggest, they'll kind of grab you. Like sometimes if you throw a few clips in, it's almost done for you. I mean, it's just kind of, you know what I mean? Like they'll just, if you have a 15 seconds and you throw something in there, it'll only let you have the 15 seconds, for example. So
I've gone, really odd. I started with, because I actually live in France, I live in the Alps. So I wanted to paint the mountains and the trees and stuff. And obviously that is a really difficult thing to start with. But I did manage to get the watercolours working well, doing trees and things like that. So that was a bit of fun. But I've been just, drawing random stuff really, cartoons and doing lettering, and just really, honestly, just complete explosion of creativity. But it's really fun. It's a great journey. So
the thing with stand-up comedy at my level, at open mic level, is like you spend a lot of time to get 5 minutes on stage, and it's not always quality time and stuff. And so last year I did like I calculated it because I'm a spreadsheet person. So I did a little over 1,000 minutes on stage, and it was over 200 gigs. And that means that many evenings out and all that. And so this year I'm kind of being more intentional about where I go and spend my time, and it's going to be less gigs. And part of me worries about that, but also I think I'm just the time on stage will be more important. And so I've even saying that I've still got quite a few gigs lined up and lining up more, but yeah, so it's been a challenge this year with that. Just kind of when I don't have anything, like this week I had 2 gigs and usually I do 3 or 4. And so just kind of going, oh, but you're doing that on purpose kind of thing. But that's challenging. And I think I relate to even like posting on social or not, or whatever, like all that stuff, because I'm posting less right now because I have less reels to cut, but also kind of spending my time doing other things, and it's tricky. And then with my podcast, similar thing, I just had to say, like, I don't have time to do it weekly, and because I edit and make sure it sounds pretty good. So that's important to me rather than just get a bunch out. And like Claire and I have talked about editing. We both edit our podcasts and some people don't. And I've gone back now. It's like every other week, which you lose momentum in a way. And I need to get more on the social media stuff, because if I'm not posting, then a way to just keep getting downloads is through social media. And so I need to spend some time there, but it would certainly be less time than editing. But again, it's just been this year, like I'm still trying to do all the things, but in a more meaningful way, if that makes sense. So that's about me. I don't know if that sums it up.
How did you get into comedy? Have you been comedian since you're...
Well, you can hear all about it on Creativity Found.
There we go.
I think I've listened. Yes.
No, but it was a long-term goal. I've always been the funny one, I guess, in my friend group, but that doesn't really translate to stage. But I loved writing. I mean, I actually went rogue during college and spent a year doing writing courses and stuff instead of my major, and then had to go back and do my major. Not unfortunately, but I just had to go back and do it. And then I just kind of put the writing aside. And then some stuff happened in my life where I just kind of didn't feel like I really deserved to be that happy. So I just kind of, the things I wanted to do, I just shoved over here. And comedy was one of those things I wanted to be on stage, try it. And so when I was in my early 30s, I said, look, by the time I'm 40, I'm going to do it. And I told enough people where my fear of disappointing other people like superseded everything else, and then by the time, so right before I turned 40, like a month before I got on stage for the first time. And
were you nervous?
Yeah, I was nervous last night. I did a gig and I was super nervous. I'm always am, but sometimes I think it's more excited than nervous, and I think I'm okay with it being nerve-wracking in a way, because it means I care still.
Does your mind ever go blank? Because I know if I was trying to remember a load of stuff, I would just be terrible at it. I would blank.
Yesterday I just went up and said my punchline. I didn't even say my. I was like, what? Because so I just open up with like, hey, I want to just let everyone know before I start that I am recording this set so I can send it to my therapist. And right. So what I did though, I just went up there and said, oh, hey everyone, so I'm sending this recording to my therapist, and people are just like, what? I'm like, okay. And I said, well, I'm also blowing my first line, so great. And then I moved on. But yeah, so or I'll like I do stupid, like I just say my punchline. I'm like, what was that? Or you forget what you're saying, but then you just figure it out. And it's like I'm not on the Apollo or whatever. I can just say, oh, give me a second or something.
It just seems to me an extraordinary. I mean, you don't seem to be. That's not right.
Very funny.
No. They're very confident.
Not for everyone. I don't seem confident.
Well, I mean, you kind of.
No, I'm not.
So why the hell do you go stand on?
Why are you staring at me?
You like people staring at you.
I mean,
to me, it's yeah.
Well, because I don't know. I like doing it. I mean, I'm not confident. Now I'm not confident.
It's challenging though, isn't it?
No, but I do have I definitely have anxiety, and like my self-esteem is a bit difficult and stuff I don't say it's low. I think it's very difficult, like, to deal with, though. And I think, but I love doing it. I love the writing, and I love the performing. I love when people laugh. And so it's kind of, when I'm up on stage, I'm not like this.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm like this. I'm more, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
No. And I think there's a lot of pressure to do things, like even the social media, like Karen, like if you don't like doing it, and then there's like this weird pressure to do it. And sometimes even Claire, I'll see your posts, I'm like, but I'm like, I should post more, like, what am I doing? And then I go, it's okay, like, calm down and just enjoy her posts, but it's like you have to do that, right? Because like Claire's like super great at like posting and doing emails and stuff, and I haven't written a blog in like a year, right? And it's a bummer, but then I just have to deal with that with me, and then like appreciate that other people are doing what they're good at and enjoying what they're doing, or even if you're not enjoying it, doing it. And then, maybe it motivates you, but rather than detracts you, I think. And if stuff like makes you feel bad, then it's not something to consume, but if it motivates you, it is, in a way, And so like Claire's my friend, so I know like that I'm happy for her versus, you know what I mean? Like, yeah.
Yeah, I feel guilty also because Claire's always, she sort of went this, and I can't keep up with looking at it, let alone kind of, And when I try and put an Instagram on, and then you have to put all these bloody hashtags, and then you sort of, something goes wrong, so then you have to start all over again. By which time I think, that's sake, it's really worth it. And kind of, and I'm not sure whether it is. I mean, how else do you get yourself? I mean, you need to get yourself. Do I need to get myself?
Well, that's the thing.
I mean,
I've asked you that question before, Karen. Why do you think you should do it?
Because I want to sell some paintings. Not hundreds of them, but
Talking about putting pressure on yourself, I might be in Women's Own next week talking about, I don't know if it's next week, but I would imagine so, because it's a relevant topic, talking about not changing my sheets once a week, like Stacey Solomon suggested people should do. Because why put the pressure on yourself just because somebody else, or even you, might have given yourself? It's like, I don't clean the house every Saturday.
It's a waste of life.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the same with, sometimes when you're saying, Karen, I feel like I should do that, but should you? Why should you do that? Do you need to beat yourself up about it or not? Because we've got a lot of other things that we're doing, and choose the ones that really are important, which I know is difficult.
And I'm thinking, can't you, I mean, as you're sitting there when you're on your exhibitions and things, can't you sell your workshops as well? And, all of and possibly be updating your website, I don't know, trying to.
Yeah, I mean, I do sell. I mean, I have my leaflets, and I do that. I mean, that's as I went through the year last year, I sort of realised that I was less looking at them to make a return on the day, but more like an investment in
future,
what's to come, and people. And I am reaping that now, because the people are just sort of signing up now, and I don't quite know why. It's kind of, it must be this kind of sort of flow of what's gone on in the year before. So I think, I mean, I'm not going to abandon them entirely, because I do realise they feed into what I'm doing. It's just, as you say, I mean, it's sort of knowing. I mean, I'm happy with what I'm doing at the moment, but as Claire was saying, it's knowing which direction you really want to take it all in, isn't it? Sort of
absolutely
what you want from it. I mean, I'm happy at the moment, though.
It's all in you.
Just need to work on your mindset, Karen.
Yeah, just shut up, Karen. Yeah.
No, not shut up. Shut up.
Stop the self-sabotage.
Exactly.
Well, I've had an awful lot of years doing it, so.
Well, we'll keep working on that. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been
thank you very much.
Thank you, Claire.
Have a lovely weekend.
Yeah.
And I'll see you soon.